Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today, and I just want to say that as a principal, I love my students. I love my job as principal. I love working with our students every day and with our teachers every day. And in looking at this reauthorization, there are 2 or 3 things that I'd like to mention that I think are very positive, and then some things that we can certainly work on. Certainly, I think as everyone is in mind, we're looking out for interests of students. And so some good things that I think are in the bill, in the recommendation, would be the student growth model. You've heard that quite a bit. And I think that's a real positive thing. To get rid of the punitive AYP sanctions was very effective, and so we appreciate that effort. We are also, and it's been a lot of my work has been based on the college and career readiness standards. I think that's a good start there as well. I do think that it's important with the college and career readiness standards that we look at what our states are doing and allow the states to determine what those standards are. And in Kentucky, we've begun that work and are certainly very appreciative of that opportunity to set the standards as a state. There are some things with the reauthorization that certainly should be looked at and thought about thoroughly before we move forward with anything. Once again, locally determine what our college and career readiness standard looks like. In addition, approving some assessments for our students with special needs based on their accommodations set forth in their IEPs. I think our local ARC, the release committees, can determine what those assessments look like. And in so doing, there's going to have to be a removal of the 1% cap on some of our alternative assessments for our special needs students. An example of that would be, if you look at Madison Central High School, we are about 1,750 students, and if you take 1% of that for alternative assessment, that would be 17 and a half, let's round up, 18 students. And at Madison Central, we have our severe disability students, we have 3 classrooms, 10 students each, for a total of 30 students. And so now we're looking at an accountability that doesn't include the entire population that could have an IEP that says that they should be on an alternative assessment. And so I would like for there to be an alternative assessment for, just remove the 1% cap there and let that local IEP ARC committee determine that would be really good. An issue that we find that we struggle with, at least in my district and my previous district, is the highly qualified part of the reauthorization. Whenever we look at the highly qualified, it's very burdensome. Our teachers struggle, we struggle to hire special needs teachers. And as we're all very well aware, some of the best teachers don't come through a natural path through certification. And so we'd like some alternative ways and not really put the burden on the highly qualified mandate about the testing. So for example, to be highly qualified, and we want to get highly qualified teachers for all of our students. And special needs is one area that we struggle in. We want to have high standards and put the best teachers in place there. But to do so requires a very burdensome testing process. We'd like to advocate for some local decisions there on what that highly qualified status looks like. And then lastly, just simply as a principal, I was very fortunate a month ago to come to Capitol Hill and to petition on behalf of principals across the United States, but certainly as the MetLife NASSP Principal of the Year for Kentucky, I just have to talk about the 4 school turnaround models that we have that includes getting rid of the principal in each one of those models if they have been in their position for more than 2 years. And obviously, you know, I think there are certainly principals out there who are poor principals who need to be removed, but certainly if we just put one assessment or if we put one measure on those principals and remove them, then it's going to be quite difficult to keep some of our best principals. A really good example would be in our home state and in one of our counties, our principal has been there for just a little bit over 2 years. And he's in the bottom 5%, his school is, and we want to turn that school around. And he seems to be doing a really good job. And if you look at their college and career readiness standards, they're doing very well, but based on the sanctions listed by the 5%, he's got to lose his job. So as a result, I cannot support the 4 school turnaround models, and I would like to just ask for a fair analysis first to determine whether the existing principal is making gains and use some alternative measures to make those gains. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. Let's see. We were Senator Paul.